All art points true north down the boulevard. Welcome to Art's InSight, coming to you today from what you might call a series of mini galleries down Houston's historic Heights Boulevard. This space has become an outdoor sculpture exhibit called True North. We'll show you more of this drive-by gallery in just a moment. But first, famed Italian jewelry house Bulgari, in collaboration with the Houston Museum of Natural Science, celebrates 130 years of sparkling masterpieces.
I think that the style of Bulgari is unique. It's bold, it's powerful, it has style, and yet it's very wearable.
So the exhibition is called Bulgari, 130 Years of Masterpieces, because it's kind of a retrospective of the house and all the magnificent pieces that they've created really over the course of the last 3 centuries.
Bugari is really a magnificent and contemporary Italian eye jeweler, master of the colored gemstones. Colored gemstones is really Bugari's signature over the last 130 years. Well, Bulgari was a great entrepreneurial story, as it was founded in 1884 by Sciortino Bulgari, who was a Greek silversmith who established in Roma, having felt that Roma would become a major city of the 20th century, and he immediately set up his stores. He founded the first store and started to sell his own craftsmanship, which was mostly silverware. And then the second generation developed, the real jewelry, meaning precious materials, gold, platinum, mixing them obviously with very precious stones. Initially it was a lot of diamonds combined with ruby and sapphires, to evolve eventually with the third generations in the 60s and 70s with those famous colored gemstones, with yellow gold, an expected combination as well with semi-precious stones, which is another signature of Bulgari. There's a lot of craftsmanship. It's really manual talent. It's starting obviously by putting stones together and trying to find a beautiful, unique combination. And then once you are clear on the stones you want to put together, you have to design a setting, and then the design is coming to display the stones. And then after you have to produce it. You have to fuse gold, platinum, which is very difficult because you have to go to very high temperature. And then the stone setting, which is one of the most delicate parts, because according to your setting capabilities, the stone will be more or less glorified. Well, Bulgari, is often described in Hollywood as the jewelers of the stars. So somehow we perhaps are the stars of the jewelers. And the fact is that no other jeweler than Bugari has been worn by so many stars since really the very beginning of modern movies, right after the war. A lot of the major Hollywood movies of the 50s, 60s were shot in Roma, in Cinecittà. So most of the most famous names of Hollywood did come to Roma. In between 2 shootings, we're just walking the streets of Roma via dei Condotti and just discovering a brand which at this time was not as global and famous as nowadays. Fell in love with it, and with a word of mouth, soon we became really the Hollywood darling, which we are still today. Our style, when compared to the French school of jewelry, is much bolder, much stronger, because Roma, like Houston, is big. There is nothing small in Roma like there is nothing small in Houston. So I think there is a great synergy between the two. The Museum of Natural Sciences, which is hosting downstairs the world #1 collection of mineral crystals, which jewel-encrusted has put together over the years. And it's a way for us also to pay tribute to what Mother Earth is providing us. Those are those rough stones, which we Bulgari try, to further glorify, crafting them and glorifying them in a way that they are not stones only, but pieces of art, as we can see all around here.
What I love about Bulgari is that a lot of their iconic designs start with the stones first. So their commitment is to the quality and rarity of the stones.
I think people are going to come in here and they're not going to leave. It's just mind-boggling the way it's displayed and the amount of jewels and menondieres and earrings and bracelets. I don't want to leave.
You can find out more about the exhibit at HMNS.org. Welcome to Heights Boulevard. Now, don't be alarmed if you're jogging or driving down the boulevard and see a building that appears to be sinking into the ground, or a giant folded metal paper plane. These are just a couple of the temporary sculptures from area artists that have taken over Heights Boulevard this summer. The exhibit is the brainchild of gallery owner Gus Capriva. Hello, Gus.
Good morning, Ernie. Welcome to the Heights.
Explain to me the idea behind these sculptures. First of all, they are very whimsical.
Yes, they are. But that's all in the curator's eye, of course. There's a group of us in the neighborhood who have been thinking about this particular project for over a year. So approximately 10 months ago, we got together and we decided to see if we could do it. Through the help of neighborhood people that are donating funds, Houston Arts Alliance, city planning, public works, the city parks. We finally got the insurances and the planning, the release documents, and the permits to go ahead and place 8 sculptures on a temporary basis on Houston Parkland, which is the middle of Heights Boulevard, for about 9 months. So the exhibition is up till November the 5th.
Okay, really quickly, there are 8 of them. Can you name all 8?
Yeah, slowly.
Okay, let's see what we got.
There's Dan Havel in the Bird Sanctuary. There's Dean Ruck. There's a mirrored piece up on the 1800 block. There's Carter Ernst, who has a gigantic beagle hybrid dog. There's Ed Wilson, who has a paper airplane made out of stainless steel. There's Patrick Medrano, who has a doghouse with oars. It's an ark prepared for the flood. So there's a flood, the dogs can get on board and sail their way out of here because it's the highest part of Houston. There's an abstract piece by Steve Murphy. And have I forgotten anybody?
You forgot the big chairs.
Oh my Lord, one of the most popular ones. And the lawn chairs, of course, which are a symbol of the Heights and many other places, by Paul Kittelson.
Now, I've seen lots of pictures popping up on Facebook and Twitter
Yes.
of people sitting in the chairs.
Yes.
Are you supposed to sit in the chairs?
I tell people to sit at their own risk. I put signs on there, do not sit or do not touch, but it's just for liability reasons.
Yeah.
I've not stopped anybody from sitting in the chair.
As I also understand it, all of this artwork, though, is also for sale, correct?
Yes, yes. And one has already been sold. So the airplane by Ed Wilson has already been sold, and it will remain in the neighborhood.
So these things can live on in your own home.
Yes, yes.
When you take it as a collection of the pieces together, what does it tell you about the artists working today in this area?
I think the artists that are working not only in northern Houston, but also the rest of Houston and Texas, we're producing works that are as good as anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I travel all over the world, and we can stand up against any artist anywhere. So I'm very proud of our artists that live and work in Texas.
If you had to tell someone where to find out more about all this on the internet, where would you tell them to go?
That's a good question. Houston Heights Association website is one. Redbud Gallery website is another. They're on several. They're on Facebook.
Well, thank you so much, and
Pleasure.
they are wonderful and a joy to have. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Up next, more exquisite jewels from another master jeweler at the Houston Museum of Natural Science. The exhibit, Fabergé, A Brilliant Vision, showcases magnificent creations that were made for the Imperial Russian court. We even had a chance to speak with Fabergé's great-granddaughter, Tatiana.
Fabergé's enameling techniques were coveted by all jewelers in the world. Even Cartier, Louis Cartier in Paris, said, what you do in St. Petersburg in enamel, we can't even come close to here in Paris. Enamel is basically powdered glass mixed with metal oxides to change the color, and then fired at 1300 degrees Fahrenheit to create this beautiful glassy surface, which you see on his objects. And he would often engrave the ground underneath with a beautiful pattern and then put translucent enamel over that, so you'd see through the enamel to this incredible pattern underneath. It's called guilloché work, and he was a master of that. The royal family, the Romanovs, got involved with Carl Fabergé under Alexander III. He decided one Easter that he wanted to have an Easter egg given to his wife, and you can't just carve a wooden Easter egg if you're the Tsar, like most people in Russia did at Easter time. He wanted something special.
He said that he wanted to have something that would please and that would not be repeated and not made for other people. So Fabergé came with the idea of a simple egg. It was enamel, white enamel. It looked like a real hen egg, and when you opened it, there were surprises inside. And the Empress was absolutely pleased with it, and so he got a carte blanche for the next year to make another egg. And that's how it sort of started.
The imperial diamond trellis egg was given by Alexander III to his wife, Maria Fedorovna, and it is made of bowenite, and it has diamond and platinum trellis all over it. Originally, we know from archival photographs that it had a stand with 3 cupids on it holding it up, and on the inside, the surprise, because every egg had a surprise, was a little elephant with a man on top, and you'd wind it up and the elephant walked across the table. And the Tsarina was so thrilled with it that he ordered one every year from Fabergé.
It continued until the revolution. So the Alexander III died, was replaced by Nicholas II, and so then Fabergé made 2 eggs every year, one for the mother and one for the new empress.
He had several clients that were very, very wealthy, like Nobel and Kelch, who had lots of money and wanted imperial quality Easter eggs to give to their wives because they could afford it. So with the Nobel egg, we have this platinum egg that has several layers of enamel on it that is engraved and etched with snowflake patterns. It's exquisite. And when you open it up, you have this watch actually in the form of a piece of ice with ice crystals on it in platinum and diamond. Alexander Kelch was a mining magnate in Russia. The Kelch egg that we have here is called the Rocaille egg. And the Rocaille egg has this wonderful Louis XV style Rococo decoration on it with 2 palm trees, the symbol of Palm Sunday, and it's in a deep green guilloché enamel, so you can see the pattern underneath the green enamel, and then over that you have this Rococo cage work with platinum and diamonds. It's an exquisite piece. At the turn of the century, you have the invention of photography. So we find that he's catering to this new passion for photography by creating picture frames, wood frames, enameled frames, gilded frames, from very simple to very elaborate for this new Victorian passion for photography. We have bell pushes. Because of the invention of electricity, we no longer have a bell pull for a servant, but you push a button and it rings a buzzer in the basement for the servant. Cigarette smoking came about after the Crimea War in the late 1800s. It became very popular with both men and women. So this was a whole new market for Fabergé to cater to them with these beautiful cigarette cases. The story of Nicholas and Alexander and their 5 children is very romantic. It was a wonderful story, but unfortunately had a tragic end. They were all murdered by the Bolsheviks in 1918. And Carl Fabergé was given 15 minutes to get out of his place, just to get his hat and his coat and to leave his premises during the revolution. And the British embassy had to get him out disguised as a British courier, and he ended up living in Switzerland and dying in 1920. If a Fabergé Imperial Easter egg came on the market today, it would go anywhere from $25 to $30 million most likely.
Fabergé, A Brilliant Vision, is still on view at the Houston Museum of Natural Science. Go to hmns.org for more info. Up next, have you ever thought about the origins of the jewels that decorated the famed Emerald City in the Land of Oz? Raul Kadakia, head of jewelry at Christie's Auction House, discusses emeralds and their significance throughout history.
Emeralds have fascinated mankind forever. From Cleopatra of Egypt, who is said to have carved an emerald with her image as a gift for Julius Caesar, to the Spanish Empire, the Romanovs, the Napoleonic Empire, the British crown jewels, the Mughal rulers of India, and the Shahs of Persia, it became very clear that no great royal jewelry collection would be complete without an impressive selection of emeralds. The finest emeralds originate from Colombia and have always commanded a higher asking price in the market. The mines of Muzo, in particular, have produced emeralds with the famed pure green color and are famous for their size and their purity. The history of the legendary mines of Muzo began with the discovery of the New World by the Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century. Undaunted by local tribes and the inhospitable terrain, the Spanish were soon able to start a supply of great emeralds through the jungles of Colombia to Spain, to Europe, and the rest of the world. Today we see great emerald jewels on the red carpet worn by Hollywood royalty, jewels that are manufactured by famous houses such as Boucheron, Bulgari, Cartier, Van Cleef & Arpels, and Harry Winston, to name just a few of them. And you see them in all sizes and all ranges.
To learn more, visit Christie's.com. Up next, actors Nicole Kidman and Colin Firth and director Jonathan Teplitsky give us a behind-the-scenes look at their new movie, The Railway Man.
The power of the story was very, very moving, and it stays with you.
Allied forces in Singapore have surrendered to the Japanese.
There's nothing generic here. This was somebody who felt completely unique to this story.
You're here to help us to build a railway.
He's alive. He's alive. And I know where he is.
He won't have a clue you're coming.
This is what you're going to do, isn't it?
It's about the best and worst of human behaviour.
I am asking the questions. You answer.
The fall of Singapore, the Thai-Burma Railway, weren't a big part of our history lesson we normally get through schools and that sort of thing. It does not make it into the mainstream. You know, the big war adventure movies of World War II tend to focus on the European wars or the North African wars and that sort of thing. And apart from things like The Bridge on the River Kwai, I mean, it's a wonderful film in its way, but it doesn't really tell this story. And so, you know, I knew about it as something which had somehow had the lid kept on it.
The British, they thought about building a railway that would run all the way from where we are here in Thailand into Burma.
Why didn't they build it?
Well, it's hundreds of miles to Burma through mountains and jungle. The British decided that to build such a railway, it would be an act not of engineering, but of extreme barbarity and cruelty. The conditions would be such that those who did not die might well wish that they had.
His obsession with trains and his intense loyalty and a commitment to a sense of honor combined to make a very dynamic personality, but also this very dark side, which was to do with the degree to which he'd suffered.
Who helped you to build the radio?
I did not expect you to be alive.
No, of course she didn't. She thought she'd got away with it. Why are you alive? You were a war criminal. Why didn't they hang you?
Not a war criminal. Just an interpreter.
You were Kanpatai. You knew everything.
There is no story without Patty. I mean, this story is, I think, every bit as much hers as it is his.
The film is ultimately a love story because it's about people who come together not really knowing each other and then learning to love each other.
You know, I was wondering, I've never kissed a man with a moustache before. And I don't think I'm going to kiss a man with a moustache again.
She suffered immensely because of what had happened to Eric. It's as much a story about a marriage and of how these horrors and how this pain visits itself on anybody who gets close.
From the minute I read her story, because of standing by somebody through difficult times and through trauma and not wanting to go into my own personal history, but that really resonated with me, and I'd never played a woman who gets to do that, and it's something that I feel very strongly about and have done in my own personal life and walked through a lot of difficult things. And I do believe in the power of the way in which love can heal, and actually just gently, slowly sort of encouraging someone to confront things. And ultimately, you know, they end up with a really strong relationship, because I've always believed that people fuse through pain. And if you choose to stay together, then you really find something much deeper. And I wanted to do that on screen, and that's very emotional for me. So that was the thread that Patty and I share.
One more story before we leave you tonight. While many sculptures are made of stone, wood, or metal, one community in Central Florida is putting their own twist on the art of construction, or construction, as they like to call it.
Construction is an event where we bring together architects, engineers, contractors, any design professionals, schools, and churches to build structures completely out of canned food. All of the cans then stay up for a week. Once they come down, they get taken down and given to Second Harvest Food Bank as a donation.
This is a very unique event. This is the 20th year of construction, which is very exciting for us to think about all the thousands of people that have been able to be fed through this event.
The theme this year was what makes Orlando magical. We did stuff the Orlando Magic mascot. The Orlando Magic is an integral part of what makes Orlando, Orlando, and the magic is that what we've done here is going to support hundreds of families throughout the local area. Truly a magical experience.
We were trying to figure out what made Orlando magical, and the more we thought about it, the more we came back to laughter, good times, family times, enjoying things, and we went immediately to the Minions. That's made us laugh. We had a good time with it. But our theme goes a little bit deeper than that. Our Minions are actually 3 children, and these 3 children are building kids packs to give to other children in Central Florida.
The theme is the Wizard of Oz, so what we've decided to do was build the Emerald City with the yellow brick road and the ruby red shoes to show the magic of Orlando. We have almost 3,000 cans. We've raised over $5,000.
The theme for this year was Orlando Can Be Magical, and one of our teammates, John Russo, came up with the idea of Give Kids the World, because we feel that the magic lies in giving back to other people. So our structure is the Give Kids the World logo, and we're able to use their design and incorporate $2,000 extra money towards Give Kids the World, in addition to our 2,500 cans that we're going to be donating to Second Harvest Food Bank.
Well, this is our 5th year joining construction, and what we promote with Girl Scouts is we try to have girls take the lead. So what we finally decided on is the wishing well fountain that you see here. They added in the gold coins for the nice accents, and then they also decided to have the water feature made out of the cellophane.
Well, construction is just a great event. We love doing it. It's a great team building. We get to really flex our design muscles and donate a lot of great food to the community. We have 2,894 cans this year. We came up with a scene from The Sorcerer's Apprentice. It is Mickey in his sorcerer's hat in the clouds holding a castle, a miniature castle.
Obviously, at the end of the day, there's a tremendous amount of donations, obviously, with the cans and monetary value, and ultimately that's the intent of the entire project. While we have a lot of fun building and looking at these things, obviously the impact for the greater Orlando community is the most important, and that's probably one of the biggest sources of pride for everybody here. Everybody's helping, everybody's contributing, and making a great project and success.
We've got about 12 teams out here competing for national awards, but in the end, it's all about the donation of the 28,000 cans that we're giving. It is taking something ordinary as a can and making it something extraordinary.
To learn more, visit constructionorlando.org. And that's a wrap from Heights Boulevard. For all of us at Arts Insight, I'm Ernie Manous. Thanks for watching and have a great week.